Stasis has been on the wild side for a while now in Destiny 2. With the combination of overwhelming shutdown and destructive capabilities of Strand, and the structurally incoherent state that had resurfaced due to the haste, swift, and haughty removal of the Font of Might mods that they needed to function properly. This subclass has seen better days. However, there are amazing options that are available to the player right now, however few they may be. The times are getting colder here within Destiny 2, and with the new insights that I shall reveal to you, it'll make sure that you prepare yourself for even absolute zero. For this time, Hunters have proven to be one of the underclasses of the Stasis subclass aside from Titan, but no longer. They will wield the breath of winter itself. We'll be using the Verglas curve, and then combine it with the tracker and bane of enemies itself, the Foetracer. With both of these combined, we'll use both their strengths to combat their own weakness for peak build synergy. It is a bow that stores stasis arrows each time you get a kill with them. You knock an enemy, you knock a stasis arrow. These stasis arrows will freeze a target when hit, preferably turn into a stasis crystal when it comes to contact with any surface. You can stack up to 5 arrows to essentially create an on-demand glacier grenade. It can serve as sturdy emergency cover or convert itself into easy dusk field regeneration with our fragments. This will also work alongside its catalyst, which states that freezing or slowing a target will provide a bonus towards our draw speed. These build decisions will weave into each other, as the Foetracer will benefit deeply from the fragments and Verglas curve, being able to provide a 25% damage buff on demand to mages and bosses that are affected with ability damage. But we aren't going to merely settle for that. We're going to apply Whisper of Rending to this, giving us a 43% damage buff towards those that are frozen in stasis, giving us a 68% damage bonus. So if we need to chip away at our enemies with Verglas curve, we definitely can, as this bow can freeze enemies with its arrows on contact. By these two factors alone, you're probably already seeing the synergies of the exotic weapon and headpiece come forth to form something greater. However, this is just the cusp of what we are working with. We will push the capabilities of this build even further to create something that emulates the cold destruction that is our stasis build. For our important starter for our build crafting, we will be using the previously aforementioned Duskfield Grenade, as many of you know of its performance involving safely pacifying champions and locking down unsafe areas are unmatched. This grenade will also be used into an effective offensive tool with Foetracer, maintaining ability damage throughout the game. Looking within our aspects, the fitting name Touch of Winter will be an important addition towards our arsenal. It will increase the size of our Duskfield Grenade, lowering our margin of error, as well as increasing our grenade uptime by shattering the crystal within a Duskfield Grenade. Next up is Grim Harvest, which states that defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards. These shards will allow us to be granted melee energy at base, increasing our Withering Blade uptime. With the further development of fragments, they can also heal us alongside topping us off with Overshield when our health bar is full. It is a much better alternative than Shutter Dive, as it reduces our realm of risk that is intrinsic with the jumping in the air to dive and shatter crystals. Now that we covered our aspects, we're going to go on to our fragments, the crucial part of the build that will allow us to manipulate our abilities to the fullest extent. With low grenade cooldowns and reliable stasis protection when near our stasis crystals, and threatening damage with our exotic weapon, it's an amazing option for this build, as it states that primary weapons deal increased damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. With this addition, Verglas curve will be able to destroy crystals much easier, and with its ability to freeze bigger targets on demand, it can do bone-shattering amounts of damage to our own enemies. Whisper of Shards is the MVP of this build, as it states that shattering a stasis crystal improves our grenade recharge rate, and this rate of recharge is extremely fast. And with the fact given that our weapon can spawn stasis crystals on demand, we have a consistent way of using our Duskfield Grenade and by extension Foetracer to handle whatever comes before us. Whisper of Rime is another great option to strengthen our survivability. As we collect this stasis shard, we will begin our healing process if we are already damaged. However, if we are full, then said shards will provide us with an overshield to protect ourselves with. This spoon falls off for 10 seconds but can easily be refreshed by collecting another stasis shard. Whisper of Chains helps us engage in further survivability, as when we are near a frozen target or a stasis crystal, we significantly take reduced damage from all sources. This benefit is a 40% damage reduction right now, and out the bucket for using the shards that you would conjure on demand around you. It's an amazing option to pick up. Speaking of pickup, Whisper of Conduction provides us with the ability that stasis shards drag towards us. The distance for this fragment to work is about 15 meters, and it's on a short 1 second delay to be active. This will allow us to reduce our melee cooldowns and will also help alleviate risk involving survivability. What's next is to provide ourselves the armor mods that would be an effective source for our abilities. This part of our build is very unlikely to change with the upcoming patch notes. However, if it does, I will be doing an update of the build to more suitably fit the Season of the Wish. For our helmet, our mods consist of 2 harmonic siphon mods and a heavy ammo finder to have more heavy ammo at our disposal, whilst becoming our primary source for creating orbs and using our stasis against our enemies. As for your arms, Grenade Kickstart will refund us a grave portion of our grenade back. That way we'll have a stronger opportunity to use back-to-back dust fields. Bolstering Detonation will help us feed into our class ability, allowing us to dodge and get our melee back instantly. This will also feed into our Impact Induction mod that will allow us to refund a significant portion of our cooldown simply by using our melee ability. This mod reduces our grenade cooldown by 20% while having its own window of cooldown of 7 seconds. Your chest will help increase our survivability through the use of chest resistance mods and concussive dampener to reduce the sheer amount of AoE damage that would hit us. Feel free to move around resistances and increase them depending on the content that you are currently taking on. Legs will be an important piece following the trend of lowering our grenade cooldowns. Innervation will lower the cooldowns based on the amount of orbs that are picked up, and Stacks on Stacks will increase the amount of grenade charge that Grenade Kickstart has access to, giving us up to 3 charges to work with. And lastly, the class combat mods will be there to round out our build. Reaper will give us access to another orb of power every time we lay a final blow after dodging. Dodging also combos with Bomber, giving us lower grenade cooldowns for doing so. And Powerful Attraction, which when dodging, can allow us to collect orbs within a 10-meter radius in one go. So now that we are aware of the fragments and armor mod choices that help make the powerful aspects that forge our build, we will decide to continue forward. Already breaking down the ice that was our build concept, we are now fully ready to embrace the cold. Here's a complete breakdown of the playstyle that can be used in tandem. When enemies are bigger than you, you must think bigger than your enemies. Prioritize slow and graceful combat while using the Verglas curve. Take great advantage of the distance you can aim with the bow, as bows effectively have infinite range. You can safely prioritize picking off smaller combatants to build up your own stacks of stasis arrows. Speaking of stasis arrows, your main goal after building those 5 stacks is to use them as a glacial bulwark to defensively protect yourself and others. When allies are down, you could place a glacial wall in front of them and engage nearby to essentially guarantee a safe revive, barring your ally wasn't completely surrounded. When it's safe to, pop a crystal to increase the grenade's regeneration of your Dusk Field grenade, as your placement of Dusk Fields can be reserved to manage bigger targets from afar. And the size of the makeshift ice roadblock is definitely plenty of cover to work with. When your Dusk Field's up and you have a major or heavy nearby your sights, that's when Foetracer makes its appearance, giving you a stasis damage boost for you to go wild with your bow or heavy weapon. When the ad density is low, you can also better focus on the champions and yellow bar targets. Do remember this, you have 4 ways of freezing champions, so they can be used in tandem with each other to essentially stun lock your enemies. There is one from hitting the champion directly with your Dusk Field, allowing the ice crystal to freeze your enemy. Another with Verglas curved stasis arrows through aiming near an ice crystal nearby or by directly hitting them. The next one with the Dust Field lingering and building stacks to freeze them again. And lastly is the Stasis melee, allowing for 2 melee usages that can freeze one stack together. These are effective tools that can be used within our arsenal to help manage yellow bar targets. To better deal with champions, you would engage them with a Dust Field grenade in order to proc Foetracer, then go to town on them. Hit them with a Verglas curve arrow to hit them when they're frozen, and kill an ad to store an arrow. Fire your normal arrow at the champion for extra damage, and then when they're unfrozen, use the arrow that you stored up to freeze them again. Wash, rinse, repeat until the desired result is achieved. Hi guys, hello guys, it is Alchemyst again. Sorry that this video came out longer than expected. I really want to put in the show work and effort into making this a really good video. I wanted something on the level of Mactix, something around there, or Legoshi's editing as well. And I think for now, this is where I'm at. And, you know, if I didn't have anything in the background like work and stuff, this would have been done much easier. But, you know, it is what it is. But with that said, I do appreciate those who watch until the end. Would also deeply appreciate a subscribe, like, or comment. Any comment would do, as it would help me power my own escapades into a full-time endeavor. I would love to do this YouTube thing full time and kind of take my time to enjoy the raw efforts of making good, memorable content for you guys. Something that I've been missing for a long, long time. But with that said, thank you for watching to the end, and this is Alchemyst signing out.